Coming up today on Pope's Plates. Hi, this is Jennifer. Thank you for joining me as we take a walk through the recipes that have built the culinary foundation of my family. Today we're going to be making Hemingway Casserole. Hemingway Casserole is a recipe from my great-grandmother. Begin by preheating your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit.
375.
With the exception of the eggplant, we're going to be cutting everything into rings or discs because this is a layered casserole. So let's begin by cutting one onion into rings. Now I'm going to finish cutting this yellow squash into discs. I didn't have the pleasure of getting to know my great-grandmother, but my grandmother and my mother told me a lot of stories about who she was and the things that she held dear. And one of those, being a Depression-era parent, was using everything that you had and making it go as far as it can. Now let's finish cutting the green pepper into rings, and then we're going to cube one peeled eggplant. Grandy was a college-educated woman in the late 1800s, early 1900s, which was pretty rare. And at some point, she ended up being a dietitian for a university. And Hemingway Casserole was one of the things that she really enjoyed because she could take leftover vegetables and leftover spices and create a dish for the students at the school. My mom likes to tell the story about the first time Grandy made her Hemingway casserole. She was so excited because it smelled so good, and then she tasted it and she did not love it. And yet now it is something that she really, really enjoys. I think our tastes change the older we get. Now we're going to begin the layering process of the Hemingway casserole. Every layer will include vegetables, 1/3 of the olive oil, 1/3 of the salt, 1/3 of the garlic, and a specific seasoning tied to each vegetable. Our first vegetable is going to be cubed eggplant, and the herb that goes with that vegetable is 1/2 teaspoon of oregano. And then we're going to add the garlic, the salt, and the olive oil. When my mother first suggested that we make Hemingway casserole, she told me that she did not think I would like it a whole lot, and I actually really do. One thing that you may want to do that we didn't do here, because eggplant tends to be a little bit bitter, is you could either cut it and salt it first to draw some of the bitterness out, or you may want to add a tiny little bit of honey or sugar. You can change it up however you want. That's really what generational recipes are all about. The next layer is discs of squash, and the herb or spice that goes with the squash is cumin, dried ground cumin. Something that you might want to add or change about this casserole is to add breadcrumbs or cheese either on the top or in between the layers. It isn't something that we have done, but now I think it's something that I'd like to try. And if I do, I'll make sure to let you know how it goes. As I'm making this, I'm noticing how much salt there is in it. At the end, I'm going to cut it back a little bit because I really don't like a whole lot of salt in my food. But you do whatever is adequate for your taste and the taste of your family. All right, finally, we're going to layer the onions and the green pepper. I ended up putting all the green pepper on the bottom, and so I ended up changing it up a little bit just so that it would be a little bit more colorful once it was completely cooked and served. And the herb that goes with this layer is marjoram. Are there any family recipes or food that you didn't like when you were younger and that you grew to really love when you were older? For me, sweet potatoes is something that I didn't think I liked because my family didn't like them. And so I didn't have them as a child. And the first time I tried them as an adult, I love sweet potatoes. I like them more in their savory presentation, but it was kind of shocking to me that I really loved this food that I had convinced myself I didn't like just because I hadn't tried it. Now you're going to cover the casserole dish either with aluminum foil or with the top to the casserole dish. I like aluminum foil because it distributes the heat really well, but if you don't have any, the top of your casserole dish is fine. You're going to cook it covered for 1 hour on 350 degrees Fahrenheit. After an hour, you're going to uncover your casserole and quarter or eighth one large tomato. I believe I cut it into eighths here. And you're going to fan those tomato quarters or eighths onto the top of the casserole dish. And then you're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of dill seed and cook uncovered for another 30 minutes. Hemingway casserole is such a hearty, colorful side dish that is great to bring to potlucks or events because it's just so attractive. If you make it and you enjoy it, please let us know in the comment section below. Thanks for visiting Pope's Plates. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Click the notification bell so that you'll know when we have new videos available. And make sure you subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Until I see you again, let's get cooking!